Howdy IG, howdy rest of yous, Facebook, where am I? YouTube. So I have been a little bit riled up this week. When am I not? On a soapbox. I put something on Threads, I think I shared it to my story about how, there are people out here with these wild income claims, make 250k a year, make six figures this, passive income this, laptop lifestyle the other. And there are some very crucial parts of this goal that they are missing out, of this journey that they are missing out. Now, I've been talking quite specifically to you guys out there who are fully booked at capacity, where you've hit this income ceiling, because for most of you, you work behind the chair. So you work with, I work with hairdressers, nail techs, beauty therapists, lash artists, semi-permanent makeup artists, massage therapists, all of you lovely lot. And when you work behind the chair, when you work one-on-one with clients, you are capped because there is only so much time in a day. Many of you push way beyond the realms of what is healthy. And, we've been having this conversation for the last week or so in the comments. A lot of you are definitely working way more hours than what I would love for you to be. Because you're just trying to think, well, how can I make it as much money as possible? So for those of you in this position, what you've probably tried to do to get past this sort of income ceiling, because that's what these people are trying to sell you, right? Is how to get past this income ceiling, whether it's passive income, laptop lifestyle, whatever that is. What many of you will have tried to do before that, or like in the stage where you're exploring that, is done a price increase. If you are kicking about in my world, hopefully you've been on at least my free pricing masterclass, and many of you, 5,000 of you, have done my pricing calculator. So that's what most people in this position do. They go, well, I'm fully booked, I'm going to do a price increase. Ideally, I'm going to lose a few clients. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be even better if I can lose the clients who don't really treat me very well, or, or run a bit late, or take the mick a little bit? Or you were maybe hoping that you would lose the clients from the services that you don't quite enjoy doing, or maybe you hoped that you would lose the clients who came in on a weekend, or, on an evening, depending on what your particular goals of definition of success is. And this is the path that many people take. A very good friend of mine, Kim, I remember back in the day, she's one of my calculator OGs, and she has a team, she has a salon, and she thought, I'm going to put my price up, I'm going to put all of our prices up, I'm going to put mine up so much higher that all my clients will go to my staff, so I can reduce my time, and I can then, step back behind the chair, and I can do the strategic work. I can do the whole work on the business, not in the business. And anyway, that's what she did. That was what the plan was. And guess what happened? Not one single person left of their own accord. She then had to go through and literally make a list. She had to pick 15 clients or 20 clients and go, right, these are the ones that are going to stay. She then had to deliver the very sad news to the other ones. Said it felt like breaking up with very long-term partner, and had to say, look, I don't have the capacity to do your hair anymore, but you can go in with the girls. This then triggered this bidding war, where this is no word of a lie. You can ask Kim in my big group. It created this bidding war frenzy where people were like, well, I'll pay you even more. Can I stay with you? So trust me on this. I've taught many, many, many people about price, and this is what happens a lot of the time. So that's one thing. If you've worked with me, if you've done a price increase, I'm sure you'll know this to be true. I'm sure you've experienced this as well. Maybe you figured that, well, I'll work hard now, because if I work hard now, I'm going to have more time in the future. Tell me what that looks like. Tell me what the plan is. What are we doing? Do we have pensions? Do we have investments? Do we have assets? Do we have things that are going to be making us money? Do we have a big juicy bank account? Most people, not so much. Because what I'm seeing in these conversations that I'm having is that no matter how busy you're getting, and no matter how much you're putting your prices up, it still doesn't feel like enough, and it still feels like fraught. It still feels panicky and scary that you can't just reduce those hours. It just feels like the rug's going to be pulled, or when's the other shoe going to drop. Kimmy on Instagram, I did that. I really thought a price increase would give me much less clients, but it was the opposite. Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm certain a lot of this is psychological, and I think another part of it is the confidence that you show up with. I was just talking to someone there who used the pricing calculator, and she said, I haven't even completed it yet, but the confidence that I'm feeling from just looking at the numbers is astonishing, like a complete shift in her mindset and belief. So I think some of it is that you get this new level of, like Beyonce, vibes of confidence because you actually know what's going on in your business. So you're walking different and you're showing up and you're like, yeah, I deserve to, I deserve to charge this. And also if I don't charge this, then I'm not going to make, I'm not going to hit these goals that you obviously see when you use a calculator kind of behind the scenes. So this is what happens, right? And it's nice because we're making a bit more money, but it doesn't solve the time issue. It doesn't solve this issue of I need rest, I need recuperation. Like so many of you this week have been telling me about like health things. Honestly, you are all absolutely knackered. Backs, shoulders, wrists, carpal tunnel, legs, shins, plantar fasciitis, is that how you say it? Like feet mangled. And, I would expect to be talking to someone in the 90s, and a lot of you are like, yeah, I'm 28 or I'm 35 or whatever. And for those of you who don't know, I had back surgery when I was 32, after 12 years behind the chair. And I don't even think 12 years is a massive amount of time. And that put me out, but I was only able to leave doing hair because I did this. If I didn't do this, God knows, I would have I know what would have happened. I would have dragged my ass back into my salon, back into my studio, and I would have powered through. And I am so, so thankful that I didn't have to do that, because I did that lots and lots of times before surgery. Like I could count on one hand how many days I'd taken off. And I had sciatica like constantly. So dragging yourself in, doing work up to the eyeballs on, codeine or whatever, trying to get through my work day, like not good, not a good vibe. Denise, hi Denise. I've had plantar fasciitis for 18 months and just got rid of it. 18 months, that's absolutely wild. I'm glad you got rid of it though. That sounds good. So yeah, maybe there's this idea of like, I keep saying make hay while the sun shines. I'll just do more work now because then I'll ultimately, be rewarded down the line. When I retire, it'll all pay off. I'll be going on beautiful round the world cruises and whatever else. But is there a plan for that? Is there a strategy for that? And is it guaranteed? I don't want to be like the most morbid person in the world, but no one knows, what's around the corner. No one knows, lockdown and stuff proved that to us, is that we just don't know what's coming up. Maybe you've tried exploring other avenues. So a lot of people that I'm speaking to have this desire to go into something like what I do. So whether that's like literally the same thing, like online education, coaching, mentoring. A lot of you I know want to do education in the work that you do. So like teaching nails, teaching lashes, teaching hairdressing. Some of you want to teach other industry people. Some of you want to teach clients, do like workshops and things like that. Maybe you want to put together like ebooks or guides or online courses, because we see it all over the place. We're like bombarded with this whole this pitch of like passive income, laptop lifestyle, 7 million figures, whatever, boss babe, carry on, right? And this has come from someone who like, that is my job, that is the kind of work that I do. So but I want to tell you just to be mindful of that, because it's a really critical step that they're missing out, and they've been a little bit sneaky by not sharing this with you. And also, they're not going to get, the people they work with are not going to get the results because they're not putting this step in beforehand, which I'll come to in a sec. So why do these things not work as it relates to breaking through this income ceiling, right? When you're fully booked and you're at capacity, you cannot physically work any more hours in a week, but you want to get past this income ceiling. So why do these things in particular not work? As I've said, the price increase backfires. You lose very little or no clients. Psychologically, you elevate the perceived value because it's at a higher price, and maybe it's the highest in your city. So when clients are just looking on price, they're going, oh, they must be the best because they're a higher price. You then, with higher prices, tend to attract and magnetize sort of, I don't want to say high value, but clients who highly value what you do, who want to spend more money. That was my experience. And I went from like one of the cheapest in town to the most expensive within like quite a fair radius. And I found that it went the total opposite way. I started attracting like amazing clients. And you always think they're going to be really, really uptight and stuffy and have really high expectations. And it's completely the opposite for me. My highest expectation clients were when I charged the least, when I charged the most. And again, I think this comes from a place of confidence and self-respecting myself enough to charge more. and respect myself enough to treat my business as a business, that then was mirrored back to me by my clients. And I had clients who were incredibly respectful. I embodied boundaries. I, was fair to them, but I was boundaried, and they respected that back. I just think how businesses are mirror, like, completely. Yeah, I see there, Remedy saying completely agree. I'm glad. So that backfires. Not a terrible problem, just on account of making some more money, but it didn't solve the problem. And the problem being, you've reached capacity, you're absolutely goosed. And it still doesn't get you to that place of that future, because I want you to start really thinking, like, what does this look like 5 years, 10 years down the line? So it still doesn't really get you to, like, a strong place for that strategically, like, look at the longer term goals. This idea of make hay while the sun shines, I always ask the question, what if the sun doesn't go in? How long will it take? Because so many of you that I'm speaking to are like, I am this close, like, to burnout, breakdown, like, they are on the brink, and they are missing out on so many things, like missing out on friends, family. Quite a few of them have got kids, missing out on events, things like that. So because there's this constant pull of, like, I can't see that money walk out the door, I can't say no to people. So much of the work that I do is around helping people be firm in that mindset and in those boundaries, and, showing them that it is okay to say no, that it is okay to, curate a business on your own terms. And just as I found with my back having surgery, it's that phrase, isn't it? If you don't make time for wellness, you'll be forced to make time for illness. And that was absolutely the case for me. And again, thinking of this retirement, this kind of longer term plan, is how you are working now sustainable? So what will your 70s look like? What will retirement look like? Hopefully you retire in your 60s. If you have spent the last 3 or 4 decades on your feet for 60 hours, or sat at a nail desk for 60 hours, or bent over a lash bed for 60 hours a week for the last, 30 years or 40 years, I don't think that's going to feel nice. I'll be very thrilled for you if you get that far, with, like, half decent health enough to retire at that point. And we're self-employed. So many self-employed people have no provisions. They have no, like, investments, pension, or anything like that. And again, I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I feel like I am today. I'm sorry. But yeah, like, state pension if you're my age or younger, like, we're going to be not in a great position, I don't think, the way things are going. And this is the thing that is missing, this crucial ingredient that is missing, is time. And it's funny because the thing that we're all being sold, the thing that they talk so much about when people are selling this lifestyle, this aspirational laptop lifestyle, passive income dream, is the money, but you can't get the money without the time. And money's a resource, and money's renewable, money's almost infinite, like, it can be made over and over and over and over again, but time cannot. And you have to have the time in order to make the money. If you can make any money without a great investment in time, it will be over and done with. It will be a flash in the pan, I promise you. Any money long-term worth making, anything that isn't just going to be a bubble that bursts, or that isn't going to be this, like, enormous peak and then this massive drop, needs to have time. Like, there has to be time and strategy behind doing that. Urban Eden Beauty says 2 years post spinal surgery, still working on the floor, spine issues keep coming. Yeah, like, I had my back, like, relapsed 2 months after I had surgery. So I went back into physio. Like, I go to the gym now, I train with a PT, because it's still there, isn't it? Like, you can still, I'll call it like a sort of twinge, where I can feel if it's starting to get a little bit angry, because I'm missing, like, half a disc. I'm missing, like, half of my L4, L5. And even when I do hair, so, like, say if I'm cutting someone's hair or curling someone's hair, I still feel it now. And I don't do hair. I haven't done hair for 2 years. So yeah, this is it. Even post surgery, I totally resonate with that. If I'm sat weird, if I'm sat at my desk for too long. When I was at the awards the other night, I was, like, shuffling about, because you're better, but it's not fully recovered, I don't think. So there are some counterintuitive things that you kind of want to be doing instead of stacking more on and trying to do more. I think we're thinking about this the wrong way. So for me, it's about working fewer hours, but being really smart and strategic with what we do and what we spend those hours doing. It's about doing less, as in reducing your service menu, and actually working with less clients, or with fewer clients. It sounds really counterintuitive based on probably how you're working now, but trust me, this is the way to do this. This is the way to create space in your business, so you are then able to start to explore these other options ahead of you. I am a big fan of Tim Ferriss. If you've read 4-Hour Work Week, it's about this thick, but it's a really good book. And he talks about mini retirements, because he says, nothing's guaranteed. There's many people who get to retirement age, and by the time they've got there, their body's so knackered that they just can't, they can't enjoy it, or they physically are not in a position to enjoy that retirement. So he talks a lot about in your present life, but no matter how old you are, young you are, creating this environment in which you can have what he calls mini retirement. So he goes away for periods of time, and he travels all over the world and does all this stuff. And a lot of what he teaches is around passive income. That's what I do. I just came back from LA for 5 weeks. I was there for a month in February because I want to enjoy my life while I physically am able to. I want to keep myself well. I want to keep myself healthy, because you don't know, nothing's guaranteed. I certainly don't want to get to the point where I get to 60, 70 and hopefully I can get board a cruise ship or whatever that looks like. So a few things to kind of consider. So think about like roller tape forward. I think so many of us, especially in self-employment, are in this like hamster wheel of every day feels the same, every week feels the same. I don't know if you feel like, is this week the fastest week ever, by the way? I don't know if it's because I was away, so I didn't get home till Tuesday afternoon. And I just feel like this week's absolutely flown. And it feels like that in self-employment, doesn't it? Because there's sometimes not a great demarcation between what's a weekend and what's a weekday, what's a morning and what's an evening. Yeah, I see Remedy saying you agree. Like, there's not a lot of work-life separation. We go physically to work, and then we come home, and then we do admin, and then we're taking content, we're doing social media, we're replying to clients, we're booking people in, we're doing stock orders. So it feels so much like we're on this really fast pace, especially if you're in this position where you're so busy, this really fast pace sort of treadmill or hamster wheel that we don't consider, or we don't even have time to really step back and consider, if this were to continue, how would this feel? Or if this is how I'm going to be, in the next 10 years, how's that going to feel for me? Let me just have a look. Carrie, I'm just about to open my first salon, struggling with the need to open 5-6 days per week. I only want to work every other Saturday, but I feel like it looks bad to be closed every other weekend. I'll tell you what else looks bad, Carrie. You crying on the floor in a heap because you've overworked yourself. I would just encourage you, I would invite you to really consider what looks bad means, and also understand that this is really subjective. So one person might think it looks bad to open on a Monday because everyone else is closed on a Monday, and aren't you awful trying to scoop up everyone else's business? Crazy. Like, I don't agree with that, but someone might think that looks bad. Someone might think it looks bad because you've opened in the same town as another hair or beauty professional. I personally wouldn't, but we spend so much time trying to control the perceptions of other people. If other people think that something looks bad or they don't agree with what you're doing, they will do that anyway. Stop trying to control everyone else's thoughts. And this is what I see so much in the work that I do, the coaching in particular and breakthrough, which is for people who are in this position, is they're so worried about upsetting people, about saying no, about letting people down, about what people are going to think about them, that they become just so like self-abandonment is the only way I can think of it, where they just give everything. They have absolutely nothing left because they've spent all of the time and energy and effort and mental like capacity and energy trying to make sure other people feel okay. And the first sign that you're doing this is the fact that you are working this much. Like, we need to just have that balance. Okay, we need to take care of ourselves. Felines, permanent makeup. I have total opposite problem. Do PMU and so quiet at the moment. I was told I can't increase my prices unless my environment is luxurious. Who told you that? Tell it to get in the fucking sea. No. Come and see me. Go on my price masterclass now. Come off this live now. Leanne on Facebook. I'd love to just have dinner at a normal time instead of being 9:30 to 10. I had my tea before 5 p.m. today. Granted, I was up at 5 a.m. But yeah, like, it sucks eating that night. Sorry, you're getting a bit of tough love from me, fine lines. Did I say felines, by the way? I do this all the time. The other day, I said someone's name wrong because I think I possibly need to have my glasses on. So think about the long term. Roll the tape forward. Actually try and step out of the business just mentally for a second and think, if things continue and nothing changes, does that feel okay? And if the answer is no, it means that something needs to change. think about what happens when you box yourself into that income ceiling, but also the boxing has completely taken over your entire diary, your entire schedule. It's eaten into your personal time, your friends and family time. Think about that box. How do we get out of that? How do we step out of that? Think about what you've tried so far and what hasn't worked and why that hasn't worked. It's that thing, isn't it? The definition of madness is doing something over and over again and expecting different results. Why are we working 6 days, 11 hours a day, missing lunch, and thinking, if I just keep doing this, things will change? They're not changing. You have to change something for it to change, okay? Claire, my health issues and conditions stopped me for almost 10 years before I opened my salon, and now I work 6 days, but 7 and all hours when I come home. And I would be interested to know how that's manifesting, like health-wise, and whether that feels good or whether that doesn't, or whether you want to change something. Andrea, the little beauty loft, just check my figures. Made £747 more, 12 less appointments and 5 less hours than last August. Guess what Andrea did between last August and now? She was on Breakthrough. Thank you, Andrea. Your 20 quid's in the post. Exactly this. And, you know, I absolutely adored working with Andrea. Andrea is a beauty therapist, works from home. And, you know, we went through this whole journey together, and Andrea made some really big, brave changes in a business and some big decisions. And yeah, look at this. And in fact, I'm going to hopefully have a chat with Andrea at some point this month. We need to sort that out. Hi, Fran. I've got loads of phrases for you today, loads of catchphrases. Old keys don't open new doors. Like, why do we keep just doing the same thing over and over? It's like standing there going, my key doesn't work. My key doesn't work. Still not working. Give it another go. Give it a little wiggle. It doesn't work. Put it down. Get a new key. We've got a new door. We need to try a new key. The filler club, I always think to myself, oh, I'll cram my diary packed full in case I'm not busy in a few weeks. But it never goes quiet. But I always worry it will. Honestly, my inbox has pretty much had the same message like 100 times over. I'm just so worried that if I stop, it's make hay while the sun shines, which for me, I believe that this is a hangover from COVID. I think that this is something that is left over from when we were in that position where we had no idea what was going to happen. We had 3 weeks to turn the tide, 15 weeks later, however many other lockdowns later. It is okay. And I'm sure Andrea can tell you this. And what we really want to do is get our business in a position, this is something we do in Breakthrough, where you can manage the quieter times. And in fact, we intentionally start trying to make it quieter because we've made so many good strategic decisions. We've retained as much money in the business as possible. We've increased profits as much as possible. We've created systems and automations and processes by which to increase profits without you actually having to do so much work. So that's what we do. Claire, I would love to be busy, but not having to rebuild my client base up. So my nail speed isn't there, makes people reluctant. But I've also been told my prices are high, but I think they're too low. Again, who's telling you this? Tell me who's reluctant about the time. I love getting my nails done because it takes a long time. It's like the greatest, like 3 hours that I'm just sat. Big uphill there. So much of this as well, by the way, is value proposition. I would hazard a guess that without going into detail and having a look at your stuff, that your messaging, marketing, positioning is not in alignment with your prices. So your prices, it's the opposite way around. So you are attracting clients who, as soon as they land on your page, go, oh, this is not what I was expecting. I see that a lot. Thanks, Fran. Let's have a look. Denise, I moved from a salon working 5 days to home working 3, make more money now. Only offer the services which I want to do. Denise, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for most of my hair extension career, and you are like my boundary model. You think I'm good with boundaries? You have not met Denise. Honestly, I remember all your tales. You absolutely crap me up. Because you don't take bullshit from people. But look, like, you are such a great example of that this works, like boundaries in action. Andrea, Breakthrough has skewed my idea of what a full day's work is. 10 to 4 now feels like a long day. I remember early on when you had one of your first days off in a week, and you were like, oh God, it felt really hard. You were like, I feel like I should do something. I'm walking the dog in the middle of the day. And it just felt so like unnatural, didn't it? Like as if again, as if the rug's going to get pulled, and you looked at your numbers and you were like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, I've actually made more money. It's hard, and that's why so much of, I've talked about this week. We approach it two ways. So we do the doing, which is the strategy, like how to get the numbers into place and the systems and processes and automations and all that jazz. But actually, the much harder part is the second part, which is the being, how to integrate it, how to be okay with being off on a Wednesday, and how to not accidentally slip back. Because it's so easy to go back in old habits as well. Claire, I'm working until I get into a rhythm. I feel like I'm learning the ropes again. My plan was to work on my terms and not be back to back, only have 3 clients a day. And what's the reality? Because it sounds like you've said, what did you comment before? Oh yeah, this is it. Sorry. Yeah, you're replying to the other one. Yeah, Andrea, finding new things to do with my time. That's what we call a breakthrough problem. When your problem goes from how do I get bums on seats to how do I fill a Wednesday? Like, what do people actually do who don't work 6,000 million hours a week? We have very nice new problems in breakthrough. What else? And yeah, kind of back to my very original point, which was this idea of like passive income laptop lifestyle. And like I say, like this is what I do. Like, I make money passively a lot. Nearly everything I do is online. I have a laptop lifestyle. My husband works with me. We've like been, so blessed to travel all over the world, and we can work, we can go on holiday, we can do both. And if you followed me for any period of time, you might know that I started Bossy Salon in February 2018. My OGs will know that, but actually most of you found me in the lockdown. So most of you who found me after that found me in 2020, because I was, I built the pricing calculator. I started doing my masterclass, which I still run now. I was doing lives. I was going live after bloody Boris Johnson's speech of gobbledygook every day and making it make sense for you. I was talking about what the guidance was, trying to help everyone stay open and, navigate this really stressful time. And let's just cut through the BS. Like, what did I have then that I didn't have before? Why did it take till that point? Like, why did you not know about me between 2018 and 2020? Because I didn't have the time, because all of my time was spent behind the chair. And actually for me, and I know it's the same for other coaches and other educators, lockdown obviously was really, really hard for many reasons, for many people, but it gave me the time, this resource that I'd never had before, to focus on this business. Up until 2020, this is like side hustle. I was like, oh yeah, I've got a few people in Facebook groups. The group went like massive overnight. I remember I went from less than 1,000 followers on Instagram to like 10,000 in lockdown. I was like, what the hell? And it was because I had the time. So I just want you to be really mindful. If this is a goal for you, whether it's like the type of work that I do, whether it's in-person education, whether you want to work for brands, being an educator, or whether you want to bring out your product line, all of these things that do allow you to break through this time for money income ceiling. So just kind of segueing from one-to-one to a one-to-many model. It might be in-person teaching. You might be doing workshops to like 100 people or whatever, doing like little group training sessions. You have to have the time. Like, I cannot stress enough what goes into not just the running of a business like this, but also the building and the scaling of a business like this. There are so many people behind me, as in behind the scenes, who make it so I'm able to do this, and so the business is what this is today. Literally, like, my husband works. He doesn't, like, I retired him. He works with me full time. We've got a online business manager. We've got contractors who help us with copy, launch strategy, funnels. We've got a consultant. We've got ads agency. Who else do we have? Support staff. App developers. We've got commercial lawyers. Like, we've got the whole bloody shebang. So please don't think that when someone's been like, oh, hey, look at me, drinking a bougie friggin' mocktail, be like, you can be a 7-figure boss, babe. Like, you could. The massive missing step is, how the hell do you have the time to do that? Because even like bringing an ebook into creation, it will take you. I can do an ebook now, and the plan for that takes me like 2 full days, and I have like banged these out like over and over and over again, and I understand the strategy in the marketing and the whole shebang, and it still takes me that long to do it. So for my first ones, it took me like months to work this out, when I was like going on YouTube and listen to podcasts about how to do it and, buying other people's mini courses to learn this. And again, it's just, where do we find the time to do that? And it's almost like you guys have got yourself in this really good position of, you've got proven success, proven track record, like what you are doing clearly works, yet someone who is much quieter is able to go down this route of, passive income and scale in maybe another industry, another field, because they've got the time. And I feel like that, I imagine that would feel quite unfair to see that happening. Leanne on Facebook, I remember finding you during lockdown, didn't have the money at the time for your pricing calculator, but I just remember even to this day, even though I didn't do it, I remember how inspired I felt after the free masterclass. Leanne, you're such an angel. Thank you. Right, cheers. I'm going all over my cameras here. Got some comments. I love the wallpaper shout out. Let's have a look. Clients and potential ones I have. This is Claire. But some have tried to take advantage of my kindness. I'm not letting clients do this anymore. I think it's like this idea of a mirror that I come back to is that people tend to respect us as much or as little as we respect ourselves. And especially with boundaries, policies, pricing, because I believe pricing is a boundary. That is us saying, this is how I'm prepared to be treated. If you want to come in my house, which is, your business, if you want to work with me, you need to do this. I'll do this. I'll do you some like sick ass hair. I'll take care of your nails, whatever. But if you want to work with me, you have to do X, Y, and Z, i.e. don't be late, don't take the piss, follow your aftercare, prep, pay the price, pay a deposit, whatever that is. And that's again why so much of the work I do is around like building that self-confidence, that self-respect, putting in the kind of more formal strategies and boundaries and policies and all that sort of jazz. It's just a bit of a cycle, but as easy as it is to get in, we can get you back out of it. Denise, I remember those days. You're brilliant. Thank you so much, you're a babe. Heidi Lou, bloody hell, Maddie, didn't realise you had only been doing it since 2018. Yeah, which is wild because actually loads of people think I only popped up in 2020 because no one even knew me until, just like I said, Denise and the OGs, it was mainly hair extension people because that was who I was in, industry groups with. Let's have a look. Oh, I waved at someone. Hi, John. Sorry, I pressed that by accident. Clients are hit and miss. The ones I have can go longer than recommended, so get value for money. Again, there's things that are in your control, how to, what's what I'm thinking of, position and articulate the value in not going longer. So actually, what I did behind the chair is I made it valuable to them to come in bang on 12 weeks, which is when I do a refit. And I was able to articulate why in the longer term they would get more value for money, but they have to do that. There's ways you can do that in your pricing. There are like loads of strategies that you can do to shift the client's perception and understanding of the value. Cassie, honestly, sometimes I feel like I don't breathe when I do these things. So sorry. Cassie, literally so much I want to do, but months are passing and I'm just in the same place. Exactly this. And I think if you've got yourself into this position of like being really busy, being really in demand, you probably have that same kind of madness that I have of like absolute creativity. Like I can imagine that every day you have like a business idea, or I could do this, I could do that, I could turn this into, I could monetize this, or I could do this and have this sort of impact. But it's like, when do I do it? Or you maybe start it and go, oh, I'll get into it. I've got a weekend or I've got a Sunday. And then back to work and it's back to square one. And I don't want your genius to not be explored and your potential to not be explored because you don't have the time to do that. That is like the greatest tragedy on earth for me. And that's what I want to help people to be able to do. Denise, the price calculator is the bomb. It's brilliant. Thank you. Oh, he's a right good eggs today. He's always a good eggs. So I want to end with one of my favorite quotes from your boy, Abraham Lincoln. And I've mentioned this loads of times on previous masterclasses and workshops and stuff, but he said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. And I think that completely encompasses that feeling of going to work every day with this like battered, rusty old axe, trying to cut this tree down, and you're hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, going, if only I had a minute to go in, sharpen this axe, I could get that done in one hit. So we have to create the time. There's no two ways about it. Yes, there are ways, i.e. you can come and work with me and I can very much expedite that process and make it so much quicker. So there's not lots of like trial and error and expensive mistakes and whatever else. But there has to be some element of time that has to be won back. So thank you, Anna. Yeah, this is one of my faves, that the sharpen your axe. So if this is you, if there's something that you want to explore, something that's on your mind, some sort of potential that you would like to explore, or you've got these ideas sort of percolating and you think, do you know what, I want to try that. Forgetting all the mindset stuff, forgetting all the imposter syndrome stuff, like let's get to that when we get to that. The thing that you need first and foremost is some time. So let's start there, and then we can knock the other dominoes down, and it becomes so much easier than when you don't have time, where you are right now. If this is you and you're interested in working together to do this, Breakthrough is going to be opening at the end of the month. DM me the word busy. If you want to drop a day, if you're working flat out and you want to drop 1 day a week behind the chair without sacrificing any profits, just get in my DMs with the word busy and I'll be able to help you out. Or I can at least, signpost you, I'll share some information with you. You can decide if that feels like a good fit for you. And Carrie, might sound silly, but thank you for being such a superstar. You give so much help and so much high value advice for nothing. So thank you. There's going to be some more coming. I can't tell you, top secret project, but there is going to be some more very, hopefully, amazing and value-packed things for free coming your way, because I love to be able to do that. But the reason I'm able to do that is because I have other things that obviously I make my income, because I've got the time. Everything comes back to this. If I didn't have the time to do, if I hadn't put the time structures in place to do my other things, I wouldn't have time to do lives. I wouldn't have time to, write newsletters or do masterclasses or workshops or anything like that. So it all becomes this really nice ecosystem where you can give more elsewhere. You can work with people at different levels based on where they're at, like financially as well. Anna, guys, join Breakthrough. Trust me. Yes, we've got the alumni in the house. Denise, just DM me the word busy. I'll send you a link, and it's got all the information about Breakthrough. And on the page, it's got an application form. So Breakthrough's by application only. It's not like any old person can walk in, because I need to make sure it's a good fit for you. You're a good fit for me. You're a good fit for, for the program that you're going to get out of it, what you want. I feel like the whole bloody fan club's here. Thank you, guys. These are really making me blush. These are absolute babes. Jessica, yes, I will save this. I'll pin it to the to my feed. Right, I'm going to come off now because I feel I'm going to hyperventilate. I'm boiling. Right, I'll catch you in a bit, guys, and I'll chat to you in the DMs. See you in a bit. Bye.